All right, I believe
Right
we're
here in my
up.
back pack is the
Greetings and
final
welcome to up. See that did it again. I got that little pop-up ad going there. But greetings and welcome to Conflict Radio. It is June 14th, 2021, and today on the show we've got Pete from Creepy Little Book. Now, Pete creates content presented without bias and researched with due difference. He doesn't resort to the formula of using the recycled images and the dramatic music that we've been conditioned to expect when discussing these subjects. His approach is very different, but he firmly believes that these types of issues can stand on their own when treated with impartiality. Pete's commitment is to deliver consistent quality, original content about the most fascinating topics in the world, and to do so in a succinct, articulate manner, free from prejudgments or sensationalism. Guys, go down in the description box below and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. It is an absolute fantastic channel. How is everybody doing today? I see we've got Blue Chicken in here. We have got a ton of creepy booksters, I would imagine. What do you call them, Pete?
I call them the community of the curious.
The community of the curious. They are in here today. Sapphire Elf, how you doing? I see you in here. I think Sapphire Elf's been coming over quite a bit, but he's originally from your channel, Pete. Matney Whitger, Mr. Fox, how you doing? Chuck Bam. I see the Happy Plague Doctor's in the house. Paul Beska, how you doing? Still got to check my mail. Antonio, the company that we do the shirts with should ship all around the world. I mean, I don't know how they do the shipping or whatnot. Just click on the link and check it out. Let's see. So, Eggneck Face, how you doing? Pete, how are you doing today? Welcome to Conflict
great.
Radio, man. Man, I am so excited. Every time I hear you on the other end of the line, I get so excited. I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me here again. It's a great time, and I'm just glad to be part of the show.
Yeah, well, if we can get you on once a week, it probably wouldn't be enough for everybody. Honestly, they love having you on, man, and we are blessed to have you with us. So the topic today, or first off, we're going to do open lines, but we normally have to start off with somewhat of a topic here, and I'll change over to the phone number here in a minute so everybody can see and call in. But are we destined to fail? And when I wrote that, I thought, you know what? I should have put, is society destined to fail? That's what I really want to ask. And Pete, I wanted to talk to you about this. I was actually watching your Atlantis video that you did last night. I think it was last night, right?
Yeah, that was last night. That's right. Yeah.
And I thought, how screwed are we as a society? You always hear, oh, well, we need to be better to each other. Oh, if we just got rid of nukes, the aliens. I don't think the aliens are going to help us. We're not going to make it to different universes. The sun's eventually just going to get big enough and explode, and we're just toast, right? I mean, are we destined to fail?
Well, I think that's a really bleak outlook, and I'm pretty more optimistic about the world in general. I think that civilizations rise, they fall. We see a golden era will come, and then tough times will settle in. These are just the natural course of life. It's something we'll always have to deal with. But I think at the end of the day, if we've got hope and we've got ingenuity, I think we've seen this replete again and again through human history. We will rise up from the ashes and rebuild every time. Every time. It's the indomitable human spirit. So, I mean, my premise is no way are we destined to fail. We are too hard scrabble for that. So I got to say, we'll rise up again and again.
But we're going to be knocked right back into the Stone Age. I mean, right? I mean, there's bound to be another catastrophic event, Younger Dryas, a flood, meteor strike, a humongous solar flare, World War III, whatever. I mean, we're going to be back to sticks and stones eventually, right? It doesn't matter how we treat our neighbor or anything. We're screwed.
I don't really think of it that way. I think that, there's so many different possible outcomes that could occur. Even in the face of great catastrophic things from, let's say, a threat from space, like some kind of comet or meteor, we would try up until the last minute to do something, to fight back, to stand up, and to succeed until the last man standing. That's the way it's going to be. That's the human condition.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll see, right? I mean, I mean, how are we going to avoid the next big thing? You know, and how many times in society have we achieved tremendous, I guess, capabilities? You know, with electronics. I mean, do you think we're the first, civilization to have computers or electricity?
I think it's possible in the ancient past that there were great achievements made in technology. I mean, we won't know for sure until something's discovered, some out-of-place artifact that speaks to this fact, or unless there's some kind of revelation discovered archaeologically or under the sea that points towards these advanced technologies. All we have to go on now is our, spotty record of history. As far as science is concerned, we've been here for 200,000 years. But we've only recorded history for 6,000 of those, leaving 97% of human history a mystery lost to the sands of time. So you are right. We could have great advancements in technology that took place in the ancient past that rose us up to incredible heights, and then something knocked us back down. But regardless of being knocked back down, regardless of the destruction of Atlantis or Lemuria or Mu or Camlarca Dam or any of these mythical places, we see people rise up again and again from the ashes.
But that's what we do. We rise up from the ashes, but we're knocked back down, right? I mean, all our advancements and all of our, capabilities, we're just back to square one every time, right?
As long as there's people, they'll keep trying. So, I mean, even if they do get knocked back to square one, somebody's going to scratch two rocks together and discover fire all over again. Then they'll leave paintings on cave walls that we won't understand because we won't have a point of reference. I mean, if somebody drew pictures of their memories of technology on the cave walls 10 years after a cataclysm, if we were sent back to the Stone Age tomorrow and a decade passed, and then we had people in cave walls remembering the technology, carving pictures of computers into stone, carving these different automobiles or airplanes into the rock, and then we let generations pass for eons, and we revisited these carvings, they'd make little to no sense to us. We'd assume they were gods or birds or other strange creations of myth and legend. So who's to know? Who's to know? It is a great mystery and one that we'll grapple with until the end of time.
All right, so let's give a shout out to everybody that, boy, there sure are a ton of people in here. Hit that like button if you can. It helps the algorithm. It'll make the video available to more and more people so we get more people in here. The phone lines are open right now. The number is 256-850-4513. So go ahead and give a call. If you don't have a phone and all you have is a computer, my phone number, it just rings to Skype. So just go to Skype and search for Conflict Radio, and boom, you'll find us. You'll find Conflict Radio and call me that way. Other than that, we're going to continue yapping here for a little bit, waiting for the phone to ring. So any of you, I guess the curious out there, want to give a call and talk to Pete, do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is it reminds me of the old Coast to Coast AM.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally unscreened, right? You just call and it rings right in here. Everybody can hear it, and I'll answer. And if it's busy, I'm on the line with somebody else. Just keep trying, and when it hangs up, it'll come through. So, Pete, we I guess it's been a while since we talked, and the last time we talked, we got on this whole disclosure thing. It seems like, I guess the news out lately is that NASA's going to be looking into this disclosure stuff, and even China has their own UAP task force now. What do you think of all that?
Oh, it's only a matter of time now. I think we're staring down the barrel of it. Now, I'm kind of concerned to some degree that this report we're all waiting for at the end of June, the supposed government report from the DOD that was ordered in the relief bill 180 days ago, might be heavily redacted. That's my biggest fear, is that we will get something, but it won't be much of anything. Or perhaps I think the most plausible scenario is that those in the know don't know much at all. I think that these things are a mystery to those who observe them. I think they remain so to the powers that be, and that's the scariest part of all. If they have no idea what they are, I mean, if they knew they were aliens, it would be simple to just, ignore it as they have for kind of 60 years. But if they have no idea what they are, that's terrifying. Who knows where they might come from? Maybe the inner Earth, maybe another reality. Maybe they are from outer space. Who really knows? But they perform incredible maneuvers. And they do defy a lot of conventional ideas about what technology can accomplish, especially with these transsubmersible vehicles, able to enter the orbit, able to enter our atmosphere, and able to operate underwater. Very interesting stuff there.
Well, the question I have is, I mean, is there a living thing on the planet Earth that can handle these maneuvers and not be squished?
No, they'd have to be piloted by some kind of remote technology, I think. If there was anything organic inside, it will require a type of propulsion we totally don't understand to prevent the pilot from being liquefied.
Could there be a suit or something that they wear that would prevent them from being squished?
Perhaps they're able to generate some kind of bubble of gravity or time around themselves to defend against these, incredible forces of gravity.
Yeah. You know, I've always wondered if it isn't AI from the future, you know, that did this, that built all of these things itself, and it's really just computers and electronic parts, and they're coming back in time to meet its maker. What do you think of that idea?
That's always fascinated me as well. Any society who had crossed that bridge of interstellar travel would likely have been dabbling into manipulating time itself to make it possible. I mean, you got to figure to kind of fold space, punch a hole in it, and then travel through. You're manipulating the very forces of eternity itself, and I think that includes time.
Do you think that if the U.S. government has been re-engineering crashed alien craft, that will ever come out? Like, would that be in the report, you think?
It depends on how long they've been doing it for. I think that, we could see in a matter of time, after certain technologies became available to the public, then perhaps they'd reveal the origins of them if they were discovered in archaeological digs. I think of one of the first UFO stories I encountered in the Americas, and it was from 1865 on the Missouri River, I believe. Craft crashed. It was witnessed by a fur trapper. He followed the path of destruction through the forest for 2 miles. He found it embedded in the side of a mountain. It contained hieroglyphics on it. It looked as if the outer shell was that of a comet, but the interior was that of a craft, which I find very strange in comparison to what we know about Oumuamua, the strange scout visitor that came through our solar system just a few years ago.
Yeah, that was that cigar-shaped thing, right?
Exactly. So what if they're able to harness the natural abilities of an asteroid to resist the powers of space, and they created craft within them, using these as a shell?
It's crazy to think about, isn't it? Well, everybody hit that like button. The call line is open if anybody wants to call. It's 256-850-4513, or just search for Conflict Radio on Skype, and you can get me through on that way, and it'll go straight through, and it's unscreened. So do give a call if you want to be a part of the show. Arlene Atkins says anything that governments are doing will not come out until it is the right info to manipulate the masses.
Amen to that.
So, you just did a show on UFOs and religion. I didn't have enough time to actually listen to the show, but it is something that we've been talking about a little bit on this show, and I saw that you were talking about it and wanted to hit you up on that. If it comes out that there are alien beings visiting Earth in craft, do you think that that's going to crush religion as we know it, or do you think that they'll just come up with a way to kind of, get away from that?
I don't think it would stop religion at all. I think you'd have a...
All right, hang on. We got a call coming in here. This is Conflict Radio. How you doing? You're live. Hello? Well, I guess they got cold feet. So anyway, about the religion, what were you saying?
I think it would just open up new avenues for evangelization. I think you'd see some people would embrace the visitors and try to convert them to Earth religions. I think you'd see a lot of people that would be interested in the religion of extraterrestrials as well, to see how that kind of correlates or contrasts with our own Earth religions. And obviously there's those who would reject these creatures outright as demonic entities.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of people for everybody listening. Scott Mitchell will be on the show Thursday, and that's going to be a show about fallen angels and I guess their whole idea that these UFO craft are really fallen angels. You know, and I wanted to ask you too about this. What about the idea that these craft are actually being piloted by the Nephilim?
I find that very interesting. That would explain a lot if these things are etheric in some way. So if, the fact of the matter is that we do have radar and sonar of these things, so that implies that they are objects. But it also is said in the book of Enoch that these fallen angels taught technology to human beings. So they must have had foreknowledge of technological advancements. So, if you are of a religious, inclination, I can see why this would be the case, But it is a fascinating idea when we get into the topic of the Nephilim and the fallen angels in the antediluvian world, a time before time, that 1,600-year span between the fall and the flood, where so much is unknown, where the entire face of the earth could have been reshaped, and where civilizations that may have existed were wiped off the face of the planet.
Yeah, I mean, what if it's possible that? And I want to thank Ginger Viking Jesus just super chatted and said the only thing I can think of as to how these craft can perform the maneuvers they do, they may have some kind of tech that negates gravitational forces and inertia involved with the maneuvers they do. So that again is kind of like what you were saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, Ginger Viking Jesus, how you doing? Ginger Viking Jesus.
All right, hang on. Conflict Radio, you're on the air. How you doing?
Hey.
Oh, see, I keep losing you, man. If you keep calling, you keep dropping off. Well, I guess we can't get him, or he's losing his signal or something. But get that thumbs up, guys. Let me ask you this: is there anything in the Bible that says that the Nephilim or the giants or even the fallen angels can withstand some of these turns and things that they're doing in the craft?
Well, the only thing that's comparable, I believe, would be speaking of Ezekiel's wheel, where there were four living creatures and wheels within wheels, and when the four living creatures moved, these things moved with them, and they were able to move in various directions it speaks to. But this is the closest thing I can find in biblical scripture that contrasts with some of the UFO stuff we talk about. There are other accounts that come to us from ancient Rome and even from ancient Egypt, but as far as the biblical stuff, it really is Ezekiel's wheel and even Elijah going up to heaven in a fiery chariot. This idea that they were taken away. And Enoch is another one. Enoch is also, taken away. He doesn't die a physical death. And in the book of Enoch, he's taken into the heavens to plead on behalf of these fallen angels before God. So it is fascinating stuff when we really get down to it, and incredibly interesting pseudepigraphal works like the Book of Enoch, I think, are left out of the biblical canon to their detriment.
Yeah, and Barry with the super chat, thanks very much. I'm glad you made the show today. I noticed you're always running late, or you miss it outright, just miss it. So it's good that you actually made it, and from the beginning today too. I noticed that you've been here. So, what does your gut tell you? What do you think these things are? Honestly, from me, just between me and you, man.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a little bit of a duality going on here. I think that the door is open for many possibilities. So to kind of like narrow it down to just one is impossible for me.
But you have to have a belief, right? I've
got threefold kind of ideas here. I think we've got either ultra-terrestrials who exist in and outside of our reality, something that is a non-human intelligence, incorporeal, that has been here since the beginning of time. Paracelsus would have called them elementals in the Renaissance era. But these are the ultra-terrestrials. They're from Earth. They're not aliens from space. Or they're extraterrestrials. They are from another world. They've traveled light years across the stars to come here and do experiments on us and mutilate our cattle. Lastly, they could be these fallen angels, these disembodied Nephilim, demons cursed to roam the land until Judgment Day to afflict mankind. So it is a threefold idea, I think. I think if we just try to narrow it down to one, it's a little tough to quantify it. So I leave the door open for many possibilities.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me. I guess I grew up in, I went to Catholic school and did the whole Catholic school thing, so I kind of lean towards the fallen angel aspect of it for some reason. I don't know why. I guess it's just the way I was raised or brought up, I suppose. Maybe that's what it is. But
yeah, well, I mean, I can identify with that. I did 12 years of parochial school myself, so so I'm right there with you. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like
haunted by the angels and saints until the day I die.
Yeah. But I mean, it could be extraterrestrials because I mean, why would God only create one Earth, right? Like, why couldn't He create a whole bunch?
It's very possible that there is life outside there. Now, whether or not this life would be sentient or just simple animal life, perhaps plant life, I mean, who knows? Even if there's plant life discovered on another world, or some kind of small rodent or lizard, or even an insect, this opens up great possibilities that we are not alone in the universe. But until we get that hardcore contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, until that moment occurs, it really is just our wild speculations and theory crafting.
Yeah, Sixth Stream here says reptilians got weapons on the moon pointed at Earth. Now, do you think reptilians could be an alien species, or the reptilians are evolved dinosaurs?
I believe both are possible. I think that, in some stories I've heard, the reptilians were evolved dinosaurs that left Earth before the cataclysm wiped them out. They settled in different regions throughout the galaxy. In other stories I've heard, the reptilians are not from this universe, but from a different one, and they punched a hole into ours and started conquering. In some other stories I've heard, like The Prism of Lyra by Lissa Royale, you'll find stories of reptilians engaging in ancient wars against humankind throughout the galaxy, particularly in the Orion constellation, for millions of years. So the explanation of where these reptilians come from varies depending on who you're asking, and your mileage may vary in as much as you believe the idea of reptilians. For some people, they're underground, waiting to attack, like in Dulce Base. For other people, they're ready to come screaming from the sky, and for even others, they're able to shapeshift into human beings and infiltrate our governments. So it is a sticky wicket to deal with there.
Yeah, some people say that the reptilians are actually the sons of Cain, or something like that. And that there's a secret underground war going on right now between the Alliance and the Cabal, and they're fighting in these underground tunnels, and they're working with these with the deep state, and the reptilians are, and there's this huge war going on. I don't know if anybody's ever looked into stuff Gene Decode has to say or anything like that. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I can't say I'm familiar with that one. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. If you go on YouTube and just search Gene Decode, you'll see where a bunch of people have interviewed him, and he swears he's got intelligence insiders that there's this underground war going on right now, and all these earthquakes are going on are really, the Patriots or the Alliance taking out these underground tunnel systems where they do all of this alien hybrid stuff, and that's another question Don M asked a little bit ago, and I'm just now getting to it. If you guys can put your questions in caps, so when I'm scrolling through I can find them, that'd be great. He asks, Pete, do you think that alien hybrids are walking among us now here on Earth?
I think that's a possibility. I think it's a great possibility. I've done videos that speak to that possibility as well. If we get to the point where we accept that there could be creatures from another world and they could very well look like us, then there's no reason not to doubt that they would have infiltrated our civilizations, maybe have been living among us for generations. Maybe there's even a breakaway civilization out there made up of these beings that is located in places like Antarctica or the moon or in orbit around our planet, for all we know. I think of Solar Warden Space Fleet and the allegations of breakaway civilizations. These kind of stories, they're fascinating. And when we delve into them and they kind of try to extrapolate the mystery, we just find ourselves with more questions than answers.
Yeah. Let's see here. I was looking at a comment, but this thing's scrolling so fast. It says,
don't forget to hit that like button while you're here. Show your appreciation to our host.
Thanks a lot, Deranged Lunatic, with the super chat. Pete, did you order your pink tracksuit yet?
No, I'm really enamored with the pink tracksuit. It is bubblegum colored, so maybe. I'm leaning towards the red right now, though, TL. Good to see you, Deranged Lunatic. Thanks for being here. Thank you all for tuning in.
And you're on Conflict Radio. Hello? You're on the air. Hello? Who's calling?
You.
How are you? Is there something that you wanted to talk about? All right. Well.
Okay.
Boy, we get some weird ones today. That's for sure. All Gone Wrongful says, I think hybrids are very possible. War Deer, and this thing's going so fast I can't even keep up. I like the concepts of Battlestar Galactica, where there are humans from elsewhere who are looking for the mythical Earth and end up being our ancestors. Very fascinating. That's a great idea to think about, isn't it?
That's I did an A to Z of alien species the other day, and one of these alien species, it was, where these stories come from is places like channeled information, abduction encounters, and contactees. So I take it with a grain of salt to begin with, a lot of these stories of different alien species. But the one was an exact replica of the story of Battlestar Galactica. They were ancient humans who had heard rumors of the planet Earth and were trying to find their way here.
All right, well, this is the same person again. I guess if Dr. Strangelove, thank you for the super chat. You're on the air. How you doing? Hello? All right. I mean, can you not hear us? I'm going to have to block the number here. All right. I guess that's the end of that. Yeah. All right. So, anyway, Pete, sorry about that. Dr. Strangelove with the super chat. Thanks very much. Into the Fringe says, taking a break from weed, miss my dreams. Hit the like button for me. Hugo Darn says, I'm cracking up. I guess Bigfoot is a hybrid. What do you think of that theory?
Bigfoot's an interesting idea. I cotton towards the direction that Bigfoot's likely an animal, an undiscovered lowland primate native to North America, probably a remnant left over from an ancient time. But for me, Bigfoot's just an animal.
Yeah, well, you know what? Bigfoot to me, and I mean, this is episode 102, and we haven't done a show on Bigfoot yet. And to be honest, thank you, Pure Gold, for the super chat. Stay safe, glorious creeps. You got it. Barry, I love prank calls. It used to be funny before caller ID. I just don't. I think Bigfoot is I think that's just the dumbest cryptid out there. What do you think? I mean,
I've heard dumber ones.
Couldn't have. Yeah,
I've covered dumber ones.
But you couldn't have more people out there trying to find Bigfoot, and you watch these Bigfoot shows on TV, or these Bigfoot YouTube channels where people are walking through the woods like, oh, look what I found, as they, got a little structure set up in the woods or something. I mean, come on. All the people, you think we'd have found something. Let's try this again. VPXM, thank you for the super chats. Any thought on underground bases in Canada? Well, I mean, there are underground bases out there, so it's gonna happen. There's gonna be underground bases all over the world, and that's just a fact of it. And let's get to the caller. This is Conflict Radio. How you doing?
Hey, Conflict Radio. This is Matt Whitgar. Appreciate you having me on and for having Pete on. I'm usually not awake enough to call in to Pete, and so this is a special treat for me.
All right,
Matthew, how you doing? Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, good to talk to you. You're sort of a hero and inspire me, and keep on looking for the truth. So I enjoy always watching the videos or checking it out the next day is more like it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. I didn't know. I sent you, I think, a message about a couple of things. Like William Tompkins, and he was in the Navy. And, of course, with Hitler and his sub going to Antarctica, any idea, the submarines being the tic-tac aerial phenomena, or UFOs, as you like to call it?
Well, that ties into the secret space program right away. The idea of these kind of submarines that were reverse engineered into spacecraft. Now, that was supposedly something that was done in the 90s or earlier.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, then we can only imagine the technology, because it advanced at some incredible rate that goes along with the expansion of computers. So, I mean, yeah, these things could be a breakaway civilization. It could be terrestrial in nature, or, it could be ultra-terrestrial, where we're dealing with something from this planet but not of our world. And I think this opens up a great doorway to the hollow earth, and that brings me right to Antarctica, where we find the openings to the poles, as claimed by John Cleve Sims Jr. all the way back in the 1880s.
Yeah, I was looking at Richard Byrd's secret diary, but the dates didn't line up. He was coming out of Project High Jump in February of 47, and unless those were earlier accounts, I don't think he could have written the secret diary at that time.
Yeah, it is a fascinating thing when you get to Admiral Byrd, because they encountered something down there that sent them limping back home. And one can only wonder if it was something to do with the bad guys in World War II, or Nordic aliens, or maybe a combination of the both working in conjunction down in that area of Antarctica.
Yeah, it's very suspicious. I'm interested. I've watched, I think you got a group of about 8 videos on the subject, and maybe a longer one that you're waiting to put out, but I'm looking forward to that, because very suspicious. Like you said, in the 2016 election, our Secretary of State was down there.
Yeah, something was important enough to send him down there. I mean, they had Patriarch Kirill from the Russian Orthodox Church go down there. Buzz Aldrin was down there. There was a lot going on, and this was after Patriarch had met the Pope in Cuba. What did they exchange with each other? The first time these two offices had met in 1,000 years. Does this tie into the mythical Ark of Gabriel? And that is something that I explored in my Ark of Gabriel video regarding this strange and enigmatic object, perhaps taken deep within Antarctica, maybe even returned to a place like the Hollow Earth.
All right, well, let me give a shout out real quick, guys, to Chili Peen with the super chat. I want to say thank you very much. I'll read your question just as soon as we wrap up this call, all right? And speaking of Antarctica, Pete, there are rumors that that's where Satan's throne room actually is.
Considering how it was so late in discovery, when we I think it was 1870 when it was discovered, something like that. And then it was another handful of years before anybody made landfall on Antarctica. Who knows what could lie there? I mean, it could be the prison of the Nephilim. Perhaps they were all washed down there and flash frozen, to wait for Judgment Day, when they would be released from their icy prisons to wreak havoc upon the world again.
Yeah. There's a large ice shelf that's getting ready to come off of Antarctica. And maybe it'll release some of the information we could see on the Perry Reese map.
That would be fascinating. I also fear what kind of might be trapped in the ice when it starts to melt. They when they drilled down into Lake Vostok, I believe they found ancient bacteria. And who knows? I mean, if something like that was released into our oceans, what if it poisoned our fish supply? This could lead to a chain reaction of these ancient viruses and bacteria that are trapped in the ice down there. Who knows?
Coronavirus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't think humanity is gonna fall for that stay at home for forever bullcrap again. I think we're over it. I think they blew it. If something bad were to come around anymore, at least within the next 5-10 years, I think we're gonna completely, totally ignore everything that they warn us about. That's for sure. What do you think, Pete?
I don't know. People are a fearful bunch.
Yeah,
We've been fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. It makes you wonder, are we after secret ancient technology?
Oh, the Stargate in the Gulf of Aden. You know? Stargates. They're down there fighting for Stargates.
You think so?
Could be. I mean, that's the allegation that's been made, especially regarding the Iraq invasion. I mean, it had nothing to do with us being attacked 20 years ago. And they certainly were itching to get in there. So maybe it was to control the Stargate.
I heard we went into Iraq to get a hold of Nimrod's DNA because he was actually a dead giant.
Could be. Could be. You know, we've heard of the resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh, I believe. It was in those leaked emails. Is Gilgamesh's tomb and the resurrection chambers of Nimrod or something like that. So who knows what's going on down there? I mean, we are dealing with the ancient crossroads of the world when we talk about these places. And, you know, the legends that go along with them, people like Nimrod, people like Gilgamesh, who may not have been descended from the bloodline of the giants, you know, and they stand out throughout history.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting stuff. All right, man, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for calling, man.
Appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
All right, man. Take
care. Take it easy.
All right, so Chili Peen said, I have thoughts of aliens are the fallen and come first to earn human trust to get people to turn away from a bad alien, a.k.a. the second coming.
The Harbinger theory. I like it. Chili Peen. And Chili Peen, thank you for tuning in, my man. Thank you for being here. Or they could be the fallen, of course. And, you know, they would come here and deceive us, saying that the second coming was the bad guy aliens, to be weary of the second coming. But I think that the second coming is going to be an unmistakable event if it occurs in our lifetime. I don't think it's something we could confuse with an alien invasion. I think it would be something that would touch us not only in a spiritual way, but a physical way, where we would know exactly what we were seeing and what we were dealing with. There would be no question in my mind that it would be like, this is the end times. We better, pay attention to what's happening here.
Now, Into the Fringe says, I'm pretty sure any being that's able to exist in more than 2 dimensions at a time would seem as a god to us. Do you think that there would be a number of people, and I suppose, that there would be, that would see the aliens land on Earth and then start worshiping them as gods? We would see Church of Aliens pop up everywhere, right?
Well, I mean, you already got alien churches popping up. They already exist. You got Raelians and Scientologists and Unarians. So, I mean, the alien religions already exist. Would this solidify new ones? Absolutely. Once the aliens landed, you would have people that would worship them as our saviors. They would be able to provide us with technology to perhaps eradicate war, poverty, and hunger on our world. And this is what really is alluring about the alien question. And I think that it plays into both our hopes and our fears at the end of the day when we talk about the idea of these creatures arriving from the stars.
Yeah, it's absolutely... it's just mind-boggling. Barry says, we know for a fact that our state of Wisconsin was at one time the equator. What's so hard to believe Antarctica was somewhere else? Now, how long do you think... if you think about it, Antarctica melting would probably be like the government's worst nightmare, right? Because then they couldn't hide under the ice what's there, right? I mean, wouldn't that be fascinating to see Antarctica, melted?
Not only would it raise sea levels 200 feet, they say, but it's also where most of our fresh water on Earth is locked up right now. I think Antarctica melted and returned to a lush tropical climate would be something incredible to imagine. Who knows what flora and fauna would have existed in this ancient place in this ancient time. So there have been some strange stories I've heard, I've been doing research on for a while now, regarding Martian activity in ancient Antarctica, and perhaps even ruins existing because of their presence.
Yeah. Sapphire Elf says, I had a glimpse of a giant broad shadow as I turned the car around in the headlights. No tree was there to cast a shadow. And Chuck Bam wants to talk about the termination event. I guess that this paper that's just been released. It's actually, I actually did my homework on this, Chuck. I've been following this Suspicious Observer site on YouTube. So if anybody doesn't know what the termination event is, it's pretty much, I guess, we're coming into a solar flare cycle of the sun, where, but our magnetic field isn't quite what it should be right now. So they're predicting that eventually there's going to be this massive solar flare that's going to create this huge arc of electricity or something that's going to shoot down on the Earth a lightning bolt like we have never seen before. Have you heard about this, Pete?
No, I'm just hearing about this now. I'm looking into it a little bit. It looks like it's magnetic in nature. Could be something to do with the poles. I don't know. That would be interesting to see. Hopefully it's nothing. I think a lot of times people hear about these things, and with a name like that, the termination event, it sounds so ominous.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it? Now, keep in mind, when I start seeing this stuff about the termination event, it reminds me of Canyonlands National Park with that crater. There's a massive crater in Utah that was caused by a lightning strike. Pete, I'm not kidding you. It's got to be 500 feet deep and like a mile around, this massive crater that was caused by lightning. And they could tell it was caused by lightning because of the electrification of the rock all around it. And they're saying that was probably planetary lightning, that it was a lightning bolt that went from Mars to Earth. And that's what created this massive crater in Utah. I find that fascinating. I mean, lightning that can go, it's called interplanetary lightning. Man, that's incredible. Could you imagine something like that happening today?
That would be insane. I mean, that would be something of biblical proportions, I think, if that was recorded here. I think that would be some kind of sign in the sky, that they say, let there be stars and let them be for signs and seasons, says the Bible. So something like that would definitely be a sign, in my opinion.
Barry says we've been watching too much TV. The invasion of Iraq had more to do with Saddam getting off the U.S. oil dollar. Well, that's probably true, too.
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's not what we do here.
Yeah, that's not really
our
our
about crazy stuff.
That's not really our.
We talk about crazy things.
That's not really our area of expertise. Sapphire Elf says there's some evidence that the box-like human stick figures drawn on caves around the world has something to do with an aurora wavelength that manifests as images in the sky. And I think I'm getting some kind of echo from you now, Creepy.
Well, let me see here. Check.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, there's an echo there. It wasn't just a bit ago. Did you change something?
Haven't touched a thing.
Huh, that's weird. Well, I guess we'll just have to let you talk for a little while.
Okay, let me see here. Let me check. We all right? Are we okay? Are you getting an echo in the chat there,
No,
folks?
I'm not getting a chat. I'm not getting an echo from you. It's just coming from my end.
Oh.
So it's weird.
Well, that is strange. Well, folks, I do notice there's 141 people watching, so if you don't mind, hit that like button. It really helps with the algorithm.
Dakota Beer Drinker 74 says these guys are liars. And Stephanie Martin says Mars attacks. No politics. Let's see. Saddam had some awesome bathrooms in those palaces, but cheap-ass Palmolive bar soap. Imagine that. Yeah, Paul Beska says echo. It's just me, right, guys? Pete, you there?
I'm still here, yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm going to have you talk, man, until I figure out what this...
All right, no problem. I don't mind vamping. So, listen, folks. I really do appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. It's really great to see so many of you here, and thank you for coming out early. I know that we normally are the night people, so it gets a little strange and weird. But let me check the chat here and see what kind of stuff you've got going on. Let me see. Pete and repeat. Okay. Well, we're going to work on that echo thing and see if we can get that straightened out there. That's going to be good for us. The Ultra Zap event, says Mr. Fox U1. Yeah, this idea of this termination event, I'm looking into it right now. It looks like it might kickstart Solar Cycle 25, which will be, physicists believe Solar Cycle 25 will be weak, akin to the anemic Solar Cycle 24, which barely peaked in 2012 and 2013. So, I don't know. I got to look into this a little more. I think that, the first thing I think of when I hear this is the I believe it's the Chan Thomas Adam and Eve story that was released by the CIA, if you guys are familiar with that, which talks about dramatic pole reversals and the such going on. It is very interesting stuff. But yeah, who knows about the lengths and widths of the power of a star can have influence over the Earth here. A Carrington type event could be something of the case. Could be something that we would be dealing with here.
All right, Pete. So let me try to talk again real quick. It seems like the echo has gone away. It seems all I did was unplug my mic cord and then plug it back in, and now the echo's gone. So maybe that's all it is. They're screaming in the chat for you to do halftime.
Oh, halftime. Usually at the halfway point of my show, I do a little spiel about check out my Instagram and Twitter, and then I play some music and pull out this little thing and ring a bell.
Go ahead. Tell everybody where they can find you. Let's do your halftime.
Okay, I'll do my halftime spiel. Listen, everybody, this is the halftime spot of the show, so I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. I really appreciate you being here, one and all. And I hope you'll check out the creepy little book right here on YouTube. It's a channel with a focus on the fringe and mysterious, everything from the esoteric to the extraterrestrial, from the spiritual to the supernatural, and all that lies between. And you can find us every single night of the year, Monday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday and Sunday, we squeeze in a little bit earlier at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes on the weekends, you can find us live at 3 a.m. as well. But we're definitely always there for you if you are one of these late-night weirdos like I am and you want to talk about strange things. And tonight on the docket, I'll give you guys a sneak peek of what we're talking about, a little place called the Land of Ooze, U-Z, the Land of Ooze, and a man named Job.
Ding. Right?
That's right.
There it is. Man, you that's it. You just lit the chat up with a whole bunch of yeses, and they're totally loving it. Man, people love your channel, man. How long have you been doing this?
It'll be 7 years in September. Now, I've only been live by myself like this for about 9 months, doing the show nightly, year round. Before that, I did have a panel show featuring some friends of mine called High Strangeness. And we did High Strangeness for about a year and a half. It wasn't too different from what I do every night, except there was 6 of us, sometimes 7, it depended on who was available that evening. But you can find all the back catalog of those shows on BitChute. So if you're looking for the old High Strangeness stuff, if you were a fan of back when I used to do panel shows, that information is still available on BitChute. Right now on YouTube, you can just find a great back catalog of the short videos that I made. For the first, 5 or so years of the channel, I just used to make short videos. Then I got married, I had a couple kids, and I just didn't have the free time to do 30 hours of research for these short videos anymore. So now what I typically do is I have some time during the day where I do about 2 hours of research for the show. The show goes live after I get done work, and we do it every night.
Yeah, War Deer Entertainment says, I loved High Strangeness. I used to get stoned and play Elite Dangerous while I listened to them. And I got that echo there for just a second, and then it seemed to go away again. What'd you do?
Nothing.
Man, that's so weird. And there it's back again. Chuck Bam says he's hiding the 4-letter words. Let's see here. Let me unplug this and plug it back in for a second.
Okay.
I'll be singing autographs later tonight. Carol's Cookie says, bury the story of Adam and Eve by Thomas Chang. All right. So, man, do you watch other people's stuff and learn about this kind of stuff, or do you read? Where do you get all of your
I try to
from?
read mostly. I try to do a lot of reading. I really don't like to watch too many other people's videos because I just don't have the time. The videos I do watch are generally unrelated to the work I do on YouTube. So, like, I'm a fan of stuff like Hack the Movies or Toy Galaxy. I'll watch channels like that, and those are really kind of the things that I gravitate towards. There's a couple of religious channels I watch here. There's Breaking the Habit with this young priest who addresses various different topics and issues. It's good stuff. So, yeah, a lot of what I really watch has nothing to do with what I research. I try to read as much as possible, whenever possible, about these topics.
Yeah, it seems like there's just an infinite amount of, I guess, material to read on these subjects, especially now. It's not like the early days of Art Bell, right?
It really isn't. I mean, Art Bell was really the place to go and be exposed to these kind of things. Now that we have the internet, it's so easy to, reach out and find out so much of this different information that's available out there. But yeah, it's not like the days of Art Bell. Art Bell would introduce us to many new authors, many new interesting stories. I think of, stuff like Stephen Gibbs and his Time Machine, or Mel's Hole with Mel Waters. Obviously great characters like J.C. Webster III, who used to call in and harass Art Bell, claiming that he was God's 10-star general and he was there to fight against the media. So there was so many colorful characters over the years, and different strange stories that were addressed on Coast to Coast AM. Huge inspiration for me. Huge inspiration.
Yeah, I actually called in and talked to Art a few times.
Oh, that's awesome. I never had the opportunity.
No, yeah.
I never talked to him.
I've called in and been a part of his show, I guess, a couple times, a long time ago. People listen to the old Art Bell archives. Maybe they'll hear me in there somewhere. Who knows, on the old Coast to Coast shows. Man, that was the show. Just so everybody knows, the phone line is open, 256-850-4513. It seems like every time... No, that didn't work that time. There's that dang echo again. But the number's there if anybody wants to give a call. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And what are you going to be doing a show about tonight?
Tonight is about a land called Ooze.
All right, hang on a second. Hang on. Conflict Radio, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
Who is this? Where are you calling from?
This is Adrian T. calling from Minnesota.
Awesome.
Adrian, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, Pete. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Having a great time here. This is reminding me of Coast to Coast AM 100%. I'm having such fun.
I did have to call in so that in time I can say that I spoke to the replacement for Art Bell.
You humble me, sir. You humble me. I can only hope that one day those doors of opportunity would open for me. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I could save you a whole lot of time and research and give you the answer to every question that you could ask about aliens and the paranormal.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it, man. Tell us. What are they?
I know what it is, but I want him to say it.
Demons. Aliens are demons. Nephilim are demons. All that, demons. Demons.
Yes. Adrian T. is renowned in our chat on our show here for bringing up the demon topic. And yes, that is one of the major perspectives when it comes down to the extraterrestrial question. What are these creatures? Nothing less than the demons of biblical tales. And I can see that perspective. I absolutely see that perspective. And I don't discredit it. I think that, like I said, it's possible we're dealing with demons, aliens, or ultra-terrestrials. It could be any of those three things.
Well, let me ask him this. It never mentions in the Bible anything about them having this kind of technology.
No, it doesn't. But you'll get people like the Ancient Aliens guys taking obscure texts and twisting it into some kind of alien craft or whatever. Maybe they just didn't know how to describe something like that, too.
Yeah.
Very possible.
You know, lights in the sky, what is that? Who knows? We see it and we think it's a spaceship. They see it, they think it's an ancient god or whatever. You know, I mean, it's kind of perspective.
Yeah, and people would have been a lot more familiar with the night sky in those days because, I mean, obviously there was nothing else to look at after the sun went down except the stars.
Well, that would just be observations, though. It wasn't like they knew what everything was in the night sky. They just knew the speck of light in the night sky.
Very true. Very true.
But anyway, just wanted to call in. I got to get back to work. So we'll see you tonight, mister.
That's right. And we'll look forward to seeing you there, Adrian. See, thank you so much.
All right, Adrian.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for calling in, man. Have a good one.
You too, bye.
All right. So, have you thought of doing open lines on your show, Pete?
No, I think I'm a little too cowardice to do that. I think that you're a very brave man to do open lines.
Oh yeah, you know.
I don't know what kind of callers I might attract, who might have it out for me, and I'd hate to lose my channel over something like that.
Yeah, well, here comes another one. Hang on.
Okay.
Conflict Radio, how's it going?
Oh, hi. I was calling in to talk to the on Conflict Radio. Do I have the right number, right?
Yeah. You want to talk to Pete? You got a question for Pete?
Yeah, the statement on the last caller, or what you guys talked about. I wanted to comment on the people from the robots from the future coming to the past.
All right. Yeah,
Ooh,
I
okay,
mentioned that
yeah.
earlier, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment about it. How is this Chili Peen from chat? Am I on?
What's up, Chili Peen?
Yeah. Hey, Pete. So,
How you doing?
yeah, I noticed in two different movies, kind of deal, like fictional stuff, the same type of character. And in this, it's the graphic novel Pax Romana and the new movie Boss Level. So they both feature in Pax Romana. It's the Catholic Church sending a whole army of people to 350 AD Rome, all right? And they have like helicopters, nukes, satellites. I'll make this very quick. In the Boss Level movie, they have a character who is played by Mel Gibson who has, I can't spoil the whole movie, but there's a time aspect to it. And these two characters, for some reason, resemble each other. I'll listen to your response off air. Off phone. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'm not familiar with either of these films, but I do like the idea of advanced robotic life being the first time traveler. Obviously, if we punched a hole in time, the first thing we're going to send through is not going to be a person. It's going to be some kind of machine. So I think that Chili is right on the money with something like that. Now, I'd be interested in seeing this film, delving into this information. I think it's definitely something that's interesting. But yeah, I think the idea of intelligent robot life being the first thing we encountered as a time traveler could very well be the case. This might tie in to the idea of gray extraterrestrials and spaceships. What if they're time machines? What if they're robots? You know?
Yeah, they're just looking for their maker, right?
Maybe.
I mean, we've seen it in Star Trek with the Voyager.
That's right.
Right, turned out to be Voyager 1.
So I mean, stranger things have been thought of.
Man, that's just absolutely crazy to think about. So, anyway, guys, the phone lines is open. The number is 256-850-4513. We definitely appreciate everybody calling and sticking to the channel. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm echoing sometimes, and then sometimes I'm not. I don't have any idea why, but
I'm not really able to hear you echoing, so I can't tell when it starts or stops.
it's weird. It's weird. Like right now it's not echoing, but for some reason it'll echo here in a minute. Maybe it's because I've got the Skype thing open or whatever. But anyway, going back to the whole open lines thing, you know, we've had some doozies, you know, that call in and then just start sprouting off curse words or something, and it's just real quick with the hang up button, you know, like that's all you got to do. Here comes another call. Hang on. This is Conflict Radio. You are on the air with Pete from Creepy Little Book.
Hey, Pete, it's Caleb Joy Music from YouTube, man. I was just calling in to say hello. How are you, man?
What's up, Caleb? How are you? Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to tell you thanks for your show tonight, too. Conflict Radio, doing a great show. I like this heavy topic, are we destined to fail? Because, you know, that's a lot to think about. That's a lot to wrap your brain about. And I just wanted to tell you, Pete, I like your response that, you know, the human condition is like, you know, we're always going to stand up for ourselves and fight. And really, I don't think we're destined to fail. I think that we're destined for great things, and that I think we'll always come through and try to approach the situation in the best way that we know how. I agree with you on that,
I'm
Pete.
right there with you, Caleb. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with his answer at all, really. How can you argue with an answer like that?
But thank you again, Conflict, for having Pete on tonight. I wanted to tell you thank you as well. This has been a great show, and I'm just appreciating the show, and I'm having a good time listening along.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for calling in. You got another question while you're on the line, or I guess he's gone already.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Pete. Pete, since I have a chance to talk to you finally, would you be interested in some theme music for your show?
That would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, definitely. So hit me up on like my email or my Instagram or something like that. Like that's usually, all kinds of people message me on Instagram. So like I'm real quick to respond there, faster than I am on email. So I don't know if you're on Instagram or not. Or email me. But get in touch. I'd love it. That would make my day.
Okay, and one final thing. Have you ever heard of the Urantia book? Since you're the book guy, have you heard of the Urantia book?
Oh, right. I've never read it. I almost purchased it recently.
Yeah. Cool. I'm going to send it to you. I've got a couple books I want to send you, and I'm going to send that to you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's great.
No
Thank
problem,
you, Caleb.
man. And thanks again, Conflict, for having me on, man. I appreciate this.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for calling.
All right, have a good night, guys.
All right,
Good
bye-bye.
night.
Thanks.
Well, that's awesome, man. You're getting a ton of callers from your guys. We should do this. We should do this once every couple of months or something. Like, just have you. If you're not going to do open lines, you'll have to come over here and do it.
Well, that sounds great to me.
I'll put you in the book right now for a date in August, and I'll message it to you. What's better for you, Mondays or Thursdays?
Well, either way, I'll be taking the day off of work, so we'll figure it out. I don't know.
All right. Well, here comes another one. Hang on. Conflict Radio, you're on the air. How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is I'm Warren. I'm from War Deer Entertainment, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, War Deer, what's up, man?
Yeah, no, this is very surreal with chat people with voices. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but you kind of learn new things about your creepy family, so it's a good thing. But I just want to tell you, look, I really, that's probably maybe the only chance I get to say this, but I really do appreciate your show. I've been listening before I go to bed each night. There's Art Bell on Periscope. There's a YouTube channel, and it has a ton of Art Bell's Midnight in the Desert shows there.
Yeah.
And and I think he has some of the ones where I can't remember the show. I think the one he did on Sirius, but anyway, I can't remember the name of it. But there's a lot of those shows on there. I don't want to share that with you, but I wanted to talk to you about Graham Hancock's theories about a civilization that was well before us, but he didn't think it was an alien civilization. He thought it was just an advanced race of humans. And I always thought, well, why not both? Why couldn't you have like multiple civilizations? That were just when Pangea broke up and all that. All those, there could have been civilizations then that we don't know about. And that could have been alien influence. And I always just thought that was just a fascinating topic, and that's why I was always like big into the Battlestar Galactica myth of like there's others of us that that were out there. So, but I just wanted to say that and say I appreciate you and Conflict Radio too. I love this show too.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, War Deer. Thank you so much. I think that you hit on some interesting points there, and I'm hard pressed to disagree with you. The idea of the Battlestar Galactica stuff, I mean, it's compelling. It's compelling, and it speaks to that longing, and we still have that longing. So who knows if we originated here or we shared this planet with other species? We know we shared it with other species of humans in the ancient past. But what if we shared it with other species of extraterrestrial? What if these ancient gods like Zeus and the pantheons of the Greeks or the pantheons of the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Akkadians, the Assyrians were, extraterrestrial entities who did come from another world, who were here for a time, and who maybe couldn't stay here because of our sun or because of our atmosphere. Maybe they were only able to visit for a limited time. Maybe they did interfere with our genetic makeup. Who knows?
Yeah, and like with the Anunnaki too, and how they're tied into the mythos too. It's just all I speak to. I grew up Southern Baptist, so a lot of my relatives are very. They think that they don't literally think the earth was made in 6 days, but they're very devout in the Christian beliefs of like creation and all that stuff. So we have very interesting conversations when I theorize that, well, maybe Jesus was an alien hybrid that, Mary was taken into the quote garden and was given in vitro fertilization, and that Jesus had these extra abilities that, and so it's fun to talk about these things because they just, from their perspective, they think about it, from the teachings of the Bible, and they just go from that. And I'm thinking, well, and I don't want to insult them or anything, but I always want to say, well, you're thinking too small. Like saying God is small. I'm not saying God is small. I'm just saying what you're saying. I think you're just thinking too small. You got to think outside the box on this one. So,
you make a good point
I love
right
these
there.
subjects, and I really appreciate you. And I just want to say thanks a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and take off, but have a good night. Have a great show. I'll probably see you tonight, Pete.
Sounds
on your
great.
Magic
See you there,
Picture
Warrior.
Box.
Take it easy.
All right, take care, brother.
All right, it seems like the echo isn't coming from him. It's coming from me, and I don't know why, guys. I really don't have any idea. Sometimes it echoes, and sometimes it doesn't. Could you hear him echoing on your end, Pete?
No, but I can't hear you echoing either.
Yeah, it's definitely coming through on my end. I know everybody else is hearing it, and I apologize for that. I don't know why that's happening, but see, right now it's not now for some reason. I don't know, maybe when the Skype goes through or something, it does something with the computer. Conflict Radio, you're on the air. How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing? Who is this, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from DC. This is Pseudonoid. How's it going, Conflict Radio?
What's up, Pseudonoid?
Creepy Pete.
How are you?
Yes, this is Pseudonoid. How are you doing?
It's good to talk to you, Pseudonoid. I'm doing great. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah. It's a unique time to call in and be like, hey, Creepy Pete. I was always in the chat, and it's like, Pseudonoid, like, talk crazy, maybe you Pseudonoid, but I keep it coached,
Oh, yeah, well, we're all a little crazy, Pseudonoid. That's why we hang out together.
Exactly. It is good company for both. But, so listening tonight, talking of, alien technology, I always hear, you have the ancient alien people. They're like, aliens give us technology. And so, like, they have a pyramid made out of, like, circuit board. Or, it's just like, and to me, it just seems so ridiculous. It's like the Flintstones, The Flintstones have all the luxuries we have, but they work in primitive ways. Like, the remote control has, like, pterodactyl that comes out and changes your channels, And that's how I think of when they say they apply our idea of technology to aliens, like you're going to cross time and space with a solid fuel rocket booster or something,
Right. I think the Anunnaki had limited technology. I think they had rocket boosters, and I think that's how they were able, like, Nibiru came close, and they were like, let's do it. Now is the time. Let's use our rockets to visit there. And then Nibiru started to move away, and they said it's either now or never. So they got back on their rockets, and they left. And if that was the case, we're dealing with a planet that had technology that maybe was advanced or maybe a little more advanced than we are now. So maybe they had reusable rockets the way we do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think about, what we know of, these anti-gravity Mercury red mercury core, like supposedly the World War II bad guys, as we say, had. I imagine more like that than like burning chemicals or something. It's just me. That's just how I think about it all.
I don't think it's a bad way to think. I mean, it could be some kind of technology we really don't understand.
Yes, and like the older world, supposedly, geomantic things, like electromagnetic fields interacting with minerals and such, I think was kind of like.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost him. Hey, if you can give a call back, we will get you back on. I don't know what happened there, but it just dropped the call. Thank you for the super chat, Dr. Forbin. He says, always interesting, Pete. Good job.
Dr. Forbin Colossus, how you doing? Thank you for being here tonight.
All right, looks like Sapphire Elf is trying to call in. I just approved you, so if you want to hit the call, here, you know what? Let me call Sapphire Elf. All right. I guess he didn't want to answer. He must be nervous. Sapphire Elf, go ahead and call in, man. You guys got about, I guess, 15, 20 minutes left with Creepy Little Book, and that's going to do it for tonight, everyone. Here we go. Sapphire Elf, how you doing?
Not too bad.
What's up, Sapphire Elf? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm not him.
Turn your show volume down there.
Oh, yeah, I'll pause it.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
So what you want to chat about tonight, Sapphire?
I'm not Sapphire.
Oh, okay.
Your show's complete bullshit.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess.
Well, you know that. I mean.
All right. You want to talk?
It's
you want to?
Nonsense.
Huh?
It's nonsense. You're talking nonsense to people who are just dumb enough to believe it.
Okay. All right.
Well, here's what I always say.
Well, you know I'm right.
I don't believe in 85% of the things I talk about, and I'll honestly admit that. It's the 15% I do believe in that's crazy as shit.
Real smart.
All right. Well, he's gone.
Well, just learn to have some fun, man. We're just having fun here.
Take a chill. Sapphire Elf, try calling back. All right. Let's see here. Conflict Radio, how you doing? You're alive. Hello. All right. Let me try calling Sapphire Elf again. It seemed like he was trying to call when I was going through. Maybe he'll answer. No. All right. Well, Sapphire Elf, we're trying, man. You're trying. Coming all the way from Australia. You gotta hit that call button again, man, and we'll get you on. I'm sure everybody'd love to hear from you. And this is Conflict Radio. You're on the air.
Oh, yeah. Am I live or no?
Yeah, you're live. How you doing?
You're live. Okay, so I just wanted to say the previous caller, mistaken for Sapphire. Yeah, that guy, I know it's a waste of call. But I wanted to say to you guys, Conflict Radio and book, that have you guys heard about Jonathan Reed? I know you did the show, Creepy Little Book, and also this one guy who's talks about all these galactic like federations.
The Galactic Federation?
Galactic Federation.
Yeah.
Turn your volume down a little bit, caller.
When it comes down to the idea of the Galactic Federation is a fascinating one. that we're dealing with a plethora of life forms that exist out there.
Caller, you have to mute the show that you're listening to talk to us.
No, I did. I'm using headphone and I'm not speaking back.
All right. Well, go ahead, Pete.
The idea of a galactic federation is fascinating. I think that it could be something out there. If there was a confederation of planets that existed out there, it would be something that I'd want to be part of at the end of the day.
I think we lost him again too, Pete. Long Island Bigfoot is here, says, good to catch a live stream. Tim Brigant says, most likely a speaker is open to a mic. Like Jimmy says, turn us down in the background. And Blue Chicken says, I've heard worse. Well, I'm sure we all have. Conflict asked Pete if we are going to fail. How much does it think it will happen if it's a human event? All right. I think we've got Sapphire Elf on the line.
Awesome. G'day. I made it.
Hey, Sapphire Elf. Thanks for calling in. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. I had to close the stream because my net's, not that great.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Sapphire Elf, you never sent me an address to send you that T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. I'm lazy.
Oh, I think we lost him.
No,
I'm here.
Okay, good.
We've got Cole waiting.
Oh, Cole waiting. There we go.
People have been talking about the dangers of an EMP in a Carrington-like event. And I've seen some things by some researchers that say that when, how the sun's electromagnetic waves hitting the ionosphere are what create the aurora borealis and the aurora?
Right.
Well, at certain high-pitched frequencies, when it hits us really hard, like a big EMP event, it'll actually create shapes and symbols in the sky, like a squatting stick man, like a kind of plus swastika, all these weird different shapes that are on cave paintings all around the world. And it looks like about 20,000 years ago, ancient man had already seen this. They just didn't have technology to, get thrown back in time.
I have never seen the aurora. I would absolutely love to. And the idea of seeing kind of images in the sky or the appearance of some kind of signs or symbols isn't too far out to me at all. I think that we look for signs and symbols as human beings. We try to recognize patterns. We look for different signs. Maybe portents of things to come or omens of things to fear. So yeah, I mean, who knows how much ancient civilizations were influenced by what they saw in the sky, especially if they saw something that was created by intense electromagnetic bombardment, incredible auroras. I think prior to World War II, there was an aurora that covered much of Europe, and I mean, it was visible in places like Italy. And many considered that this was a portent of the war to come. Yeah.
I think there's a row of churches dedicated to Michael, and they're all in a certain line, and I think it goes through Italy.
It does. You're absolutely right. It starts in Great Britain and it runs right through Italy. It's the St. Michael ley line.
Yeah, and the guy that built the cathedral on the hill saw a symbol in the sky, and I'm thinking, is it some kind of pulse that came through, and people did actually see it.
Well, I think to even someone like Constantine, who saw a symbol in the sky and then converted the empire to Christianity.
Yeah, all that kind of thing.
So it's possible. It's absolutely possible.
Yeah. Well, that's just what I wanted to bring up, that ancient man around the world seem to have seen something like that before, and they've done tests in labs shooting EMPs at a medium, and it's created these fantastic shapes. And you can just read them straight off cave walls of about 20 to 25,000 years ago all around the world.
Who knows if this is a way that divinity speaks to us? Who knows if this is a way for higher intelligence to manifest itself in a way that is visible to us lowly creatures here on the earth?
Well, I think if there was going to be a cosmic presence that could actually change things, you know, the sun's like a really powerful thing that's out there with some great, incredible forces like the forge of the universe.
Yeah, and our sun is small compared to some of these other ones that exist out there. Minuscule.
Oh, what about the possibility that our sun is the actual binary star? What if we're the binary star?
Well, speaking of that, scientists recently just found remnants of what might have been Theia, the proto-planet that crashed into Earth, and we were kind of binary for a while, and then it hit us, and it was really dense in iron, and we found these massive iron chunks down under our mantle that they say is probably from what kicked up all the debris that created the moon. If the moon isn't a spaceship to begin with. I'm not sure on that one.
Well, you know, that definitely would be interesting, you know, to find out that the moon is actually a spaceship. You know, if that's the case, then we do have these underground beings in tunnels under the earth. You know, maybe they escaped their planet, landed here, and are living in the hollow earth, right? Apparently there's all kinds of stuff living down there.
Well, they do say that they crashed a satellite into the moon when they put up seismic things on one of the Apollo missions, and it rang like a bell for hours.
I love the hollow moon theory. I love it as much as I love the hollow earth theory. I think they're absolutely fascinating. The moon is a spaceship, as the song goes.
And also the craters don't seem to be deep enough for their width. It's like there's a hard shell there.
Exactly. It's like there's some titanium or something that encapsulates the shell of the moon.
It is really high in titanium, the regolith we find on the surface. So
yeah, just so everybody knows, on the 22nd, we're having a special Tuesday show with Brooks Agnew, and we're going to be talking about the possibility of the moon being a spaceship.
But yeah, I'll talk about any of this freaky stuff. You know, I love all this stuff.
It's just so interesting, isn't it?
I did try to take a step back and try to rationalize and come up with a logical theory. That was just a fault, but I love the fringe and weird and just taking it for what it is as well. Pete taught me that.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about normal, right?
Yeah, I think I started on both your channels as a skeptic.
Well, somebody had called in here or messaged on here not long ago. I was like, this is what I think aliens are, and they were like, well, that's what creepy little book thinks. And I said, okay, maybe that's why we get along so well.
Maybe, who knows?
You know, they were yelling at me though.
But I could sit here and talk. I think so. Whatever's going.
Well, do you have another question for Pete while you're on the line?
Do you like licorice?
I like licorice, yeah. I like the strawberry licorice, like Twizzlers.
Oh, I got some Aussie licorice with real cane sugar and stuff. I'm going to send you a snack pack.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I also like drinks that take like licorice, like Sambuca and Ouzo and absinthe, you know, things that taste like anise. Yeah, I can get down with that.
I was going to send these Yowie chocolate things, but they've got a Kenda type egg inside, and I was just looking up last night, and I was like, no, I don't want the whole package getting seized, so you're not getting a chocolate Yowie.
Yeah, so those Kinder eggs I think are illegal in the States for some reason. I don't know what's going on here anymore.
I don't know. I think the toy eggs are a bit big to swallow if you're a kid, so I don't know what the deal with that is.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah, no worries. Then I'll get back to your conflict about the T-shirt too.
Yeah, man. Just send me an email. It's info@conflictradio.com. Send me what size, what color, and an address to send it to you, and I'll ship it on out to you, man.
And does John or Jack, whoever the last guest was, does he still have a couple of books? So I think I've got a friend that would like one.
No, I think they all got used up. Paul Beska got one. I know they're all on their way. Everybody that got a book, the books are on their way. So.
Okay, yeah, I know Paul. He's one of the fellow Aussies.
Yeah, that was Josh Falls. He gave creepy. He gave everybody. He gave 5 people in the chat room books.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that was pretty neat. So yeah, man.
Like an Anthony Robbins style self-help thing.
Yeah, kind of like a quotes for the soul, daily, daily motivation type thing. It's really neat little book, and everybody that got one, they are on the way. He did message me that they've all been sent. So.
One last thing, because I've started about with the EMP. For about $100, you can get a thing for your car engine, and it'll EMP proof it. And just being able to get out of the cities when everything goes down will be a big help. And I've got one on my RV, and that's just a little thing I've done in case there is a Carrington event.
Now, what is it you need?
It's an EMP protector that you just attach to your car battery line, and they're about $100, probably like half that price in the States. And at least your car will start, and you'll be able to get out of there when everyone else is stuck. And I think just getting out of major population centres will be a big thing if something like that does happen, an EMP.
Yeah, hopefully everybody who is into this kind of stuff has already gotten out of the big city. I think everybody, the warning signs have been going off for quite some time. If you are in a big city right now, I would recommend getting out.
Yeah, I think the coronavirus really woke up a lot of people, and we had a massive, like, the whole half the country burnt down in Australia about a year ago. And that was my big wake up, and I'm like, yeah, no, go RV style. But I was lucky I already had enough stuff that when the stores got sold out, I was okay. And I always, like, joked I was a prepper and never took it seriously.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we take seriously as we get older, right?
Yeah, well, I like to be optimistic, but being prepared can't hurt.
All right, well, let me give a shout out real quick to Hologram Nunchuck. Says he's got to go and wants to say bye to everybody. So later on, man, definitely come back if you want later on and check out the end of the show. Sapphire Elf, thanks a lot for calling in, man.
Yep, no worries. Good to hear from you finally.
Good to talk to you, Sapphire Elf. Thanks for calling.
No worries. And what is it? Stay creeped out, everybody.
That's right.
All right, man. Later on.
All right, catch you.
All right. So somebody was blowing up the call waiting while we were talking to him. So if you want to give us a call, I guess we've got about, well, 3 minutes. So if anybody wants to call, you need to call right now. Pete, it was fun, man. What'd you think?
I have a great time, man. I have a great time every time I'm on with you.
We do
it's such a good time. We have such great conversations. It's a lot of fun.
We do, don't we? Like we gotta have like something to initially start the conversation, but boy, it won't take us long. We're off that topic and on to something else. And
oh yeah.
Just all right. Here comes our last call tonight. All right, hang on. Conflict Radio, you are on the air.
Am I? For real?
Yeah, turn your volume down and give us a name and tell us where you're from.
I'm not actually on air.
Well, it won't take as long. We're off that topic.
You got to turn your volume down.
You're on a delay.
Okay. All right, put me on air. I want to talk to them.
All right, man. Creepy Little Book is here. You are on
the
air.
I'm here. We're live. You were talking to me.
Okay.
How's it going?
You guys are full of shit.
Yeah, that's the point.
Laugh all you want. It's the truth.
All right, man. All right, that's enough of that. And let's see here. We just don't have the time, guys. So, if somebody wants to call and tell us how full of crap we are, that's totally fine. But not when we've got 2 or 3 minutes left in the show. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out the Skype. That'll do it for us tonight. Creepy Little Book. Pete, why don't you tell everybody, why don't you just give us your end of show rundown?
All right, folks. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank Michael from Conflict Radio for having me. I really do appreciate it, man. It's a great time. I always have fun when we're here. And listen, check us out tonight live on the Creepy Little Book at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be talking about a land of ooze and a man named Job. It's going to be an interesting tale. It's older than most of the oldest biblical texts, and it speaks to a mysterious land, the whereabouts of which are still unknown. So yes, do tune in for that right here at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Creepy Little Book.
All right, and Paul Beska says the open lines with Conflict Crew and the Creepy Crew is totally awesome, and that's right. We like to call ourselves conflictors. So I guess that's what we are. It's the conflictors and the curious conflictors, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right, man. Well, hey, definitely, Pete. Thanks for coming on the show. Do stick around for a second. I'll let's set up another day to do this when we're done here. And everybody, the link is in the description box below. Get down there and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. It's an awesome channel. You guys are gonna love it. Seriously, go check out Creepy Little Book on YouTube. The link is in the description box below. And that's going to do it for us. Remember, you can always find us online. Just go to www.conflictradio.net. We are available on all of your normal podcast catchers, including iTunes. If you're listening to us on iTunes, do rate and review us there. It does help as far as getting the show out to more people. And the more people that listen, the more and more we can do this. And, maybe we can get up to 5-6 nights a week one day, if I don't have to run out and do a normal job. Definitely check out our store. I believe they ship anywhere. So definitely go down to the store and check out our t-shirts. Some really neat stuff there. We have a members section, and we're just moving on. We're moving on, and we're doing what we do. On Thursday, we will be back with Scott Mitchell. He's an expert on the UFO, alien, I guess fallen angel phenomena. On Monday, we've got Donna Francart coming on. Brooks Agnew, a special show on Tuesday about the moon, and man, it's going to be a fascinating show. And Brandon Weichert on Thursday the 24th. So that's what we've got in the book for the rest of June. Until next time, that'll do it for us. Batten down the hatches.